Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, Craig here with another great business to discuss in this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Matthew, and he's selling his info product and dropshipping business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Matthew. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you for asking. And I'm looking forward to talking more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. It's an info product and dropshipping business in the agriculture and information niches, created in December 2012. The average monthly revenue for the business is $20,081, and it makes an average of $18,333 net profit each month. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 54170 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's have a look at what's included in the sale. We have the primary domain and all site content and files, an email list with 89,709 subscribers, social media accounts for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, employee contract, and NFT. Okay, Matthew, now let's hear from you. Can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, so I started being an entrepreneur as soon as I graduated high school, and online businesses were just the easiest to kind of get started. So my first business that we started was called QRlicious, and we designed, QR codes. Everyone's kind of familiar with that these days. But yeah, we were kind of first to graphically design them. So, it would fit into like people's branding and stuff like that in their marketing material. I mean, this was like way back in 2009, that would be, or so, when we started that. And then that just kind of morphed into like developing mobile websites and mobile apps that kind of went with the QR code campaigns, and just kind of snowballed from there, where we were pretty much just an overall creative agency making marketing videos and websites and all kinds of stuff for medium to large businesses. And then, so that's really kind of how we got started in the online, just kind of developing online businesses.
Excellent. It's really interesting. And I love the brand name of QRlicious. Very cool. So what about the business that we have for sale today? How did you come up with the idea to start this business in particular?
Yeah, so in November 2012 here in Colorado, we became the first state to legalize cannabis. And, at the time, I thought this would be a great time to kind of get into a brand new industry. And so we really were kind of like thinking, at the time there was like no pathway forward or any way to like start a, like a cannabis grow or anything like that. So we were like, what could we do that we could do now, that would kind of like lead up to the beginning green rush, we called it, right? Yeah, that's when we came up with the school that's really focused on the cannabis industry.
That sounds really interesting, taking advantage of a growing niche. So it looks like that your business earns from the info product courses, and you also earn from dropshipping as well. Could you tell us a little about the business structure and how the business earns?
Yeah, so essentially our courses are created by instructors that most of them are like authors, right? So they're kind of figureheads in the industry. So we don't make the courses at all. So instructors make the courses for us, and in return, we'll advertise their book, we'll link back to them and whatnot. And that's worked out very well for us, because we have really great, unique content for our students, and it doesn't really have a huge upfront cost for us. There are a lot of times when we get our hands on the courses to try to like increase the production value, if you will, right? Not every author is really keen to like creating a nice video or something like that. So we can kind of have that curve to go through, but that's how we generally make our courses. And then from there, traffic comes in from Google or our affiliates. We used to have a subscription model, probably at any time, and that worked out pretty well for us too. It's just now it's one-time fee. You get access to all the courses. And that's primarily it. Our drop shipping is we have like merchandise, t-shirts, hats, things like that we really implemented just about a year ago. And that's steadily increasing as time goes on and as we fill the store up and push it out in our email list and stuff like that.
Excellent. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting business model to apply dropshipping to info products, and so quite unique. So I'm looking at the earnings over the past 2 years, and they seem very consistent. How is it that you've been able to maintain the consistency of the earnings of the business?
Honestly, I think it's just the demand. The thing is, like in 2018, we all kind of got burnt out, right? You just kind of get burnt out on a business after a while. And we definitely felt the burnout. Well, we do feel it, right? Obviously, or else we wouldn't be selling. But the thing is like, it's just, I got into like the coffee industry and everything. And so my focus wasn't necessarily to keep the consistency. Really, I think is just based on demand. Demand has continued just to be there and go up. And because we haven't really, we don't pay for marketing. I guess, we have affiliates, of course. But yeah, we really don't have, it's just kind of amazes us. Like, we're very grateful that we founded a product and stuff that can stay so consistent and be so hands off. But yeah, the thing is, where we're at right now, it's kind of, we have all these plans that we want to do, but they're just, because our passion's not it anymore, it makes it really hard to actually meet your deadlines and hit your goals. And to me, I feel like this business is very useful within the industry. And I think it has tremendous amount of potential for somebody who has that passion still, or has that passion now to bring it up and to keep it going. But yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, the answer to how did we make it so consistent? I mean, it's just the legwork we've done throughout the years since we started, That's how we've been so successful. But other than that, it's just word of mouth.
Excellent. Yeah, and you've sort of touched upon my next question. You may have answered it already, but how come you're selling the business at this point?
Yeah, just burnt out, 100% on it. It's hard to say that because you're like created this thing and you've been involved with it for so long. And, going into this industry at the time we did, we made the rounds of like, we were on all over Yahoo News and CNN and, it was great. It was like, we were definitely doing something great for this industry and this movement. And so like now, almost 10 years later, you're just kind of like, I'm tired of being the guy at the party that has to talk about cannabis all the time. I get all the cannabis questions and I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? It's just, we've just moved on. And just to have this go on further and to carry on, it just needs some new life, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. You'll have to transition from being the cannabis guy to the coffee guy or whatever you move on to.
Well, yeah, like my new business is robot coffee shop. So it's like, it's totally different. And it's already like, I don't know. It's just a lot of changes over the last 10 years. You know what I mean? So I've had 2 kids since then. And it's a long time to, I think, own a business and to stay passionate in that business. I think that's a lot to ask for business owners, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Sure, a lot can relate.
Yeah.
Is there anything you've learned from building this business that you will apply to your other business?
Yes, absolutely. I think just when we build, like, it's kind of a community that we've built, what I'm going to really take away is building out your email list, but it's not just like an email list, right? You're building a community. I like to think of it as like a family because it's like, the people that get your emails and they ignore it or they get off your list, like whatever, like it's the people that stick around and interact in the courses. And that's what you really want to build, those kind of champion customers. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be taking that away, kind of implementing that into my newer venture. I think also not being afraid to like try something totally new that hasn't been done before. Because we were the first kind of online cannabis school, right? Everything else was kind of in person and whatnot. And then in 2014, that's when we really took everything online. I said to my creative agency, we're done doing QR codes and websites and stuff. We're just going to focus on creating this school online. That was kind of a big shape up, but the reality was the legalization of cannabis was just happening everywhere. And my thinking was, if we're going to train an entire industry, you're not going to be able to do that in four walls, right? You got to get out of that and take that information online. So kind of just taking chances, risks, doing things that people haven't done before. I'm definitely going to be taking that with me as well.
Absolutely, yeah, especially when you're leading the way in sort of relatively new industry. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So was there anything you tried that didn't work out for you when you were building this business?
Yeah, so when we first started out, we did in-person classes, and it worked for a while. That's the thing with this is like you could probably pull off events with this kind of thing if you wanted to like be in kind of like have people experience this brand in the real world, because that's kind of fun to do. But I think having the in-person classes it's just really expensive. You got to get the classroom, instructors, and it's just a lot of time. And then you got to pass all those expenses on to the students. And then it comes like way too expensive. And so for us doing the in-person stuff, that was really hard and it didn't really work out for us. We've also tried to do like kind of like marketing events, going to like the Cannabis Cup or something like that and having a booth and whatnot. And those are really hard because it's not necessarily like people who consume cannabis and whatnot. But that's, when you're like a school in that kind of environment, people aren't necessarily going to care too much about you. So that was a bunch of waste of money. We did a lot of kind of events way back in the day, and then I couldn't track if that really paid off or not at all. So those things didn't work. And like I mentioned before, subscription model, that works. I guess the challenge with that is trying to keep those subscribers interested, because we would have like, they would be subscribers, I think, on average for only like 3 months. But that was definitely enough for us to plenty of profit from it. But yeah, we tried so many different things to try to keep those, like, to increase that average time. We would throw in a whole bunch more content more often and all that. And we just couldn't get that retention rate up. I still am pretty optimistic about subscriptions, but it was difficult for us to kind of keep students on board for longer than 3 months.
Absolutely, yeah. It sounds like you've had the common marketing struggles of tracking what's working and what's not. So about the marketing, you make the majority of traffic from organic search, but you mentioned earlier that you also have some traffic from affiliates. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so our affiliate program, we've pretty much always had. It's just gone through a lot of different versions. So we used to have affiliate, anybody can become affiliate. And we used to team up with like people, like say they were like, hey, I have this great URL. It's like floridacannabis.com or something random like that, and we want to have your courses on our website. We didn't want to do that kind of type stuff, but we just thought, hey, what if we just, what if we created a great web page and looked almost, you're an affiliate of ours. You just kind of link back to us and whatnot. We started actually getting some really serious affiliates doing really extensive campaigns and whatnot, creating entire websites and building huge lists and sometimes even getting like ads passed, which is really difficult in the industry to get any kind of, Google, Facebook ad or something. But yeah, we had a problem with affiliates where they would they would start to tell there's, I don't know what you call it, affiliate scammers, essentially. These affiliates started to kind of get malicious because the industry is very highly regulated, right? So it's like, it was a nightmare, right? We got a lot of students that were angry at us. We had to chase down affiliates and make sure they can shut them down. And so then we started to really increase our efforts to just kind of make sure that our affiliates were real, like they were going to actually behave appropriately. So now our affiliate program is pretty much just invite only, or people, if they message us, and then we kind of do a vetting process just to check them out and let them know what's going on. So the affiliate program, is like we grew like crazy amount of affiliates to now it's like just a couple. But the couple we have are serious affiliates, That's kind of the path that we have taken with the affiliate marketing approach.
Got it, yeah. That makes total sense. As for the future of the business, what do you think are the major opportunities for growth?
Yeah, so what we probably built and what direction we would take. For us, we wanted to make it so that it's easier for people to create and post up courses so that we can increase the amount of content faster. And we thought it would be kind of better just for them students to be able to have a lot more courses for them to be able to go through. And the issue, with that whole model, we just had to build the infrastructure to make sure that people aren't posting really horrible classes. We want to keep the quality somewhat pretty good, So we were kind of juggling with how to do that. But yeah, I think having it so that it's easier for people to put up courses so that it's less content that the school has to make, because that was another thing. Oh, I'll throw that into things we've tried and failed, right? We've tried to make our own courses. Anyways, that is definitely, I think, a big one. Just making it easier to have more content. And then another thing we would probably go into is one idea we had is to really focus on state regulations. And plan we've had is to kind of work with lawyers to essentially make, like, whatever state they're in, to make a course so that people in that state can kind of get the most updated information with regulations, because that is almost impossible to kind of keep up with, because every single day there is tons of changes to the regulations all over. So it's like really hard to have an updated course with that. I think that would be tremendously popular, having regulations courses. So that's what I would think would be kind of really huge and for the potential for this business.
Absolutely, yeah. All great stuff. And as for the day-to-day work you do on this site, can you describe the amount and type of work you do on this site for maintenance?
Yeah, so we have a contractor who manages support tickets from students. Basically, if there's sometimes, glitches happen, things get updated, so you got to update things, fix things after the update happens, stuff like that. For me, it's very hands-off. There's weeks that I probably don't even worry about anything. For me, it's really hands-off. But it's a WordPress site, so it's nothing it's nothing too complex or anything. And really, the developer's there just to, when we have a new course, upload the course. We have edits, things like that. So that's pretty much the day-to-day stuff. The most frequent stuff is what the contractor has to deal with kind of dealing with students' questions and whatnot.
What skills or requirements do you think there are for someone who's not familiar with this niche or business model?
Like, if you're handy with WordPress, kind of had minimum development skills, or have someone on the team, that would definitely help. Well, you have to really get, this niche, if you know nothing about this niche, there isn't really much that you have to know, right? Because you're not teaching the courses or anything. You really have to focus on, I think maybe marketing, right? You'd want to know who you're marketing to. So I would say that'd be kind of important. But yeah, I think just having some basic web development skills is really what's needed.
Yeah, especially with the contractor there to help respond to the students and customers and stuff like that. That'd be helpful for the buyer to focus on their skills. Overall, what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Well, so being in the cannabis industry, that I think is just the biggest risk, because for us, we've had to change our credit card processing company a couple times. And that's been a huge pain in the butt. That's the main reason why we haven't been doing subscriptions, because when that happens, you have to figure out what to do with all your subscribers and all that kind of type stuff. So you just have to be kind of nimble and prepared for those kind of things. I would say just that, just kind of the banking in the cannabis quote industry. Even though we don't touch the plant, we don't do anything like that, there's still banks out there that kind of get freaked out.
Absolutely. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. We've covered a lot of great stuff today, but just to sort of wrap it all up, putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Oh, because the potential. In the U.S. here, it seems like every week, every month, there's another state, another city that is legalizing, regulating cannabis. So I just think the growth is huge, especially since it's not even federally legal yet. And there's tons of rumors, right? Every year it's like the new rumor. It's like, this year's the year. But every year that goes by, every day that goes by, it just gets closer to that point where it gets regulated. And I know the banking issue, right, hopefully will be fixed here soon. I know there's several proposals about that. So yeah, I think just the amount of potential, because it's just like this industry is so new. If just to think like 10 years ago, we would be having this conversation and there wasn't even a single recreational cannabis shop anywhere. Now it's like a multi-billion-dollar business. It's like hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't know. It's actually probably not that big. I can't remember. It's just the potential in this industry is absolutely huge because it's just the tip of the iceberg, really.
For sure, yeah, certainly seems that way. Okay, so regarding the sale of the business, would you commit to a non-compete?
Yeah.
And how much support are you willing to offer buyers? Are you going for the standard 30 days of email and Skype support?
Yep, standard stuff. I'm fine with if someone wants a little bit more help, I'm open to that too.
Excellent. And are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
Yeah.
All right, anything else you'd like to share that I might have missed?
No, I think that was it.
Yeah, we covered a lot of great stuff. So thank you very much for your time, Matthew. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. Appreciate the time.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 54170. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.